Welcome to the What's Your Ceiling podcast. We're your hosts, Monty Wyatt and Paul Szynski. Wherever you are in life, there is a higher ceiling. This podcast is how you become aware of it and how to take action to push through it. It's time to discover your ceiling. Welcome to the What's Your Ceiling podcast, where we talk about your health, your family, your business. I'm Monty Wyatt.
I'm Paul Szynski.
And we're glad to have you join us today. We've been doing podcasts now for almost 5 months, and we believe today's topic is magic pill. Okay, we've heard a lot of different conversations and different things that we've had from our guests so far. So Paul and I want to share our top 5 common denominators that we have learned from our guests that we've had over the last 5 months.
Yeah, and I think it's important. What we're talking about here today is this. People go to conferences, they pay a lot of money, everybody's looking for that. What's the magic sauce? What is it that makes one person successful and another guy poor? Well, we're here to tell you it's right here, and it's in front of you every day. And we're going to talk about that. And I think one of the biggest things, like cumulatively, we've had close to 25 podcasts, I believe, so far.
Yeah.
And so we were sitting around talking about, what is that magic pill? Well, the magic pill is there. We've seen it in our podcast. If you went back and you saw our podcast, it's there. And I think one of the big things that my takeaway is meeting people that whether they're making 5 million or 150 million, and we've had them all on this podcast, is one thing is I've really liked its attitude. Attitude is something that is really important. And I know that you and I've come together and realized how important that attitude, but you might want to.
When I think of attitude, it's got to be an abundant attitude of thinking about how can we, and finding a way, and having a yes way of thinking. That attitude is so important, and it's got to be. It starts at the top. It starts at the leadership of an organization, and you've got to instill it throughout everything. And I think we've heard that from many of our guests. That attitude, how you approach things, how you see things.
It is, and that's how you build your culture, right there, with that attitude coming in. And if you've ever been in a room with someone with high energy and just they glow, and they bring the whole room up. So the attitude is definitely one of the top pieces of the magic pill.
Absolutely. The second one I want to mention is communication. I think there's 2 parts of communication. There's individual communication and there's organizational communication. And to me, leadership and communication go hand in hand. Great leaders are great communicators.
Absolutely.
And so many times, and I bet if I go to ask every customer of mine, every client of mine, and every business out there, they'll say the number one challenge in a business is communication. And the companies that do very, very well are ones that have consistent communication, ones that are intentional with their communication. And it's being clear on their direction that they're going. It's being clear on how we work together.
Yeah, which rolls into communication, rolls into process. And process is another thing that you find with every company that's successful. And you find when they go through the 3 million or the next step at 8 million, to 25 million, to 50 million, to 75, 100 million, every one of those has a process. And it's communication. And as you can see, we had, whether they're doing billions of dollars with Nebraska Furniture Mart, and they meet every morning to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
And we find great companies communicate every day. They have processes.
And they had 24 on that call every day.
Yes.
24 of their executive team are on that call every single day. And it takes a commitment, and it's seeing the impact from it. And they said it started at COVID, but they kept it going because of the impact that it made. So communication is our second common denominator. What would you say is the third common denominator?
Well, third common denominator would be is the whole group of leadership and having the leadership in the right place and the right bus. Because at the end of the day, that leadership is what is going to get the growth, and that's where we're going to go. And each and every podcast that we had that was another part of the magic pill. It was that leadership.
Yep, I would agree.
And you either stalled out with that leadership or you grew with it.
Yeah.
And in each level of leadership needs another type of talent, and it takes that. So that's another big part of that magic pill.
Great leaders have to grow with the company, and sometimes the company outgrows the leaders. And so you've got to make the changes. If the business is growing fast and the team isn't growing with them, the team is going to get run over, and you're going to have to find a new team.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, Monty. Something that's really profound in what you said in that is sometimes a company does outgrow the leadership. And when you get to 75 to 100 million, you may have to bring a CEO in and pay him $1 million. There's a point in time, if you want to keep growing and go through that next ceiling, and it becomes a different mindset. And you deal with it all the time, Monty. And you've taken companies from 0 to 100 million. And that mindset that you've seen had to be, tell us a little bit about that. What type of mindset you have?
Well, it's a change in mindset. It's no longer about you as the founder or you as the original owner. It's now about the 500 family members that are now part of your organization. You're responsible for those 500 families. And what is the best decision for the 500 families? It's no longer about me. It's got to be about the company. And some people can't let go. And that's where their company will crumble, because the company has outgrown what their skill set was, and to go to that next level or to maintain where they are.
Yeah. And that's something that we found consistently throughout, I think, all these successful people that we've interviewed, we've met they're at a very high level, and every one of them recognize that. Another thing they do, they go out and get professional executive coaches like yourself to help them break through those, because sometimes you have to get outside help, and you kind of get in your own way when you stay inside the company. So sometimes it's good to reach out, get an executive coach, and help you bust through those ceilings. And I've had to do that before in the past, and it's been a lot of help for me and my company.
Yeah. So our common denominator so far is attitude, communication, leadership. The next one I want to add is consistency. And it's in every area of the business, whether it is in your communication, your leadership, your attitude, but it's the way you do things as an organization. You have to be consistent. You have to challenge yourself. You have to be willing to try new things. That's the consistency of growth. It's not just consistently doing the things the way you've always done them. You've got to consistently challenge the way you've always done things.
Yeah, and to grow. And those core values is really important, in that consistency and everybody coming together and focusing on the same vision, the same mission, and working on that. But you're right, that consistency and showing up is important. And that's another part of the magic pill. And it's right there.
And it's come out in almost every one of our interviews, the consistency in culture. You said it as core values. You're exactly right. You've got to build the right culture to get the result that you want. And that's consistency. Absolutely.
It is. And so the people out there, because I've been in that position, you're in your 20s, you're out there. How can a company grow like that? And one company gets stagnated. You know, everybody's looking for that secret sauce when they go to that conference or they're around some successful people. Well, we've seen it. We were fortunate in the last 5 months to see some incredible talent step into our studio. And just like this weekend, we're in Omaha, Nebraska right now at the Berkshire Hathaway meeting, and we have a lot of achievers, a lot of people that have built companies, and it's really fascinating to be around that type of energy. And we are really enjoying this weekend, and I think you're the same. Right?
Absolutely. What's another common denominator that you've seen?
Well, we see that a lot of. We're on our 5th common denominator right now. So probably the next thing that I find is it's kind of like continuity between the people that work there and the attitude, which is a combination. And I think it's a part of our, like I say, the magic pill, it's there. You just got to follow it. And it's sometimes moving the needle forward isn't about hitting home runs. Sometimes you got to hit singles and doubles, and then occasionally you get lucky and you hit a home run. But it is that gets back to consistency and attitude.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So attitude, communication, leadership, consistency, continuity, which I'll add to that, alignment, because you've got to be aligned. And I think another one that we've seen through many people is they know their numbers.
Yes.
And I think a critical common denominator is people, you have to know your numbers, whether it's not just the financials, it's the actions that create the financials. And even the bigger companies that we've talked to, they use green, yellow, red. They use scoreboards. And so there should be no excuse to not know your numbers, your activity and your results.
Yeah. And what's really important also, some people may not be analytical, but what you do is you have people that work for your company that know the numbers and know how to, because you don't know your true north until you know your numbers. And you got to have somebody put them together. But there's no reason why anybody in a company does not know the gross revenues of their business, because we're all on it. And if you know your numbers, are you hitting your numbers? Are you below your numbers or above? And there's reasons for why you do that. And tracking those numbers personally is probably right up there, is as much as important as anything of the 5 magic pill we have. And I agree.
Absolutely.
We love the numbers, and that's a big deal.
I don't know if we've hit 5 or 6. We've hit quite a few, but we've got some great common denominators. Yeah. And I just wanted to share that, after 5 months and 25 plus podcasts, the magic pill is in being consistent, having the right attitude, having great communication, being a leader, being aligned, and knowing your numbers. And I guess one last one I'll add is you got to have passion. You got to have drive.
You do.
And this isn't an easy world. You got to work your tail off. Yeah. And every person that we have talked to, they are successful because of how they have worked their tail off.
Yeah. And another comments that we've had is those are the people they hire. That's the ingredients. It's showing, do they have passion to get up and grind that out? Because if they don't have passion, they'll burn out fast. But you get someone with passion, you get enough people in the room with passion, you get that growth, you get the momentum going. And we talk about momentum, and that passion is what brings that out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So to our achievers out there, here's my encouragement for today is don't overcomplicate success. Don't overcomplicate success. Get the basic things right. Get the things, the common denominators that we talked about today. Get those right, and you will be destined for success. And it is one step at a time, hitting singles every single day. And yes, that's the power of breaking through ceilings. So anything else you want to add for today?
I think we just gave the magic potion out, and it's just about getting the right people and making it happen.
Absolutely.
So
thank you for joining What's Your Ceiling. We'll talk to you next week.